Okay, so 3-4 years ago, how many of you guys were following American Idol? Now be honest, don't be bashful, it's okay, it's okay. We won't judge you. 1, 2, oh, we got a guy, nice, honesty, Fuchs, I'm not even gonna ask you. 3, 4, 5, 6, big fans, you guys still following? Only the auditions? I started just like the last 2 shows, that's it. Okay, now today, how many of you guys are following The Voice? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here's my question, okay? Here's my question. What is the difference between American Idol and The Voice? The Voice is positive reinforcement. Okay. Oh, you love Adam Levine. Sorry, he's taken. I'm sorry. But he's Jewish, so you're in the right direction. What else? What else? At The Voice, they're not looking at the performers. So what? What? It's important. It's focused on their talent. Okay, so here's the thing, guys, with Idol, right? In order to make it on American Idol, I actually had a girl who was in my class the other night. She tried out for X Factor, and she has a ridiculous voice. She actually showed me a clip. She's amazing. And she made it all the way to the rounds right before TV. And they sent her a letter from the producers that while we love your voice, your story is not abstract enough for television, which means basically she had a normal upbringing and her parents still love her and she has a good job. But if she would have been in rehab for a couple years and grew up in the projects and been arrested and whatnot, that would be a story for TV, and then you make it. But The Voice is all about the music, the love of the arts, because for those of you who haven't yet seen it, and I definitely, tonight is sponsored by The Voice, great show. So for those of you that haven't seen it, so basically the judges are back to you, CeeLo Green and Adam Levine and the rest of the chevra, the crew, and they basically listen to you sing without ever seeing your face. They don't know anything about you. All they hear is your raw voice, the music. And if they hear something special in the music itself, they connect to the music, then they press the buzzer and turn around. And they're like, oh man, why'd I take her? No. But that's what The Voice is about. It's about the music, the art of the music itself, right? We're all Adele fans. Who's not an Adele fan? Right? We all love Adele. Everybody does. She basically got every single award, right? Best record, best single, best double, best cover, best artwork. She won every single award, right? Best record, record of the year. And while most of the music that we listen today is all about staging and drama and pyrotechnics and dancers, her music is just simple, raw, emotional music, a piano, percussions, but it's a story that talks to us, right? Her music is a story that talks to us, right? Thank God for that guy who dumped her, because if not for that, you have nothing to listen to today. But I heard she has a new boyfriend. Anyways, so that's for the next album. But that's, her music is so emotional and so real, and it came from such a deep place that it's able to affect us and touch all of us in a very real way. It happens to be this topic of music is a topic that's very dear to my heart. So besides being a rabbi, I don't know how many of you know this, I'm actually involved in music production. I'm the Jay-Z of Jewish music. You know the song, Oops, I Did It? I didn't write that, but I like it. So I'm actually involved in Jewish music production and composition. And it's for me, music is food. It's like I love food, but I also love music. It's like I don't sing very well, but I love to sing. Just last night, Figgy had to kick me out of the shower. You guys know Figgy? Because I was taking too long in there singing. But the best acoustics are in the shower, right? We all know that. But my babysitter, so my kids have a babysitter. She's great. She's Jamaican. She loves to sing also. She loves to sing. But she also loves Jesus, which is fine. And she loves to sing about Jesus, which is also fine. I'm cool with that. But it's not cool when I get a phone call from my 3-year-old's Hebrew school teacher. Why is your kid coming to school singing about Jesus? That's not good. But tonight's discussion is going to be about music and its role in Judaism. So let's start from the beginning. We have a holiday coming up this weekend. Who knows the name of that holiday? Shavuot. 10 points for you, double dessert. Okay, Shavuot. What is Shavuot celebrating? What are we commemorating on Shavuot? The receiving of the cheesecake? Torah, right. The receiving of the Torah. The Torah, as we know, comes in with two parts. There's the written Torah and the oral tradition that was given with it that explains the Torah. Now, how many of you have actually opened up a Torah and seen the words inside? A whole bunch of you have seen the words of a Torah scroll. What does it look like to you? Gibberish? That's a nice way to put it. But it's definitely very illegible. And the reason is because what is it missing? Vowels. There are no vowels. There are no periods, there are no commas, there are no capitals, there are no punctuations, paragraphs. It's just one huge paragraph, pretty much, besides a few breaks here and there. But the whole thing is one huge paragraph. So how do we know how to read it? How do we know how to read it? So you know what the answer is? Who said that? You can take the credit. That's okay. That's okay. You sing it. So we have part of the oral tradition. We're given something in Hebrew called the trup, which is melody. It's different symbols that represent different melodies, and those melodies actually are the grammar. Meaning the way that we know how to read Torah and understand Torah today and all the basic mitzvot that we have, whether it's Shabbat or Mezuzah or the holidays, all that is because of the music behind it. The music is the insight into all that. It teaches us how to read it, how to learn it, how to understand it. The foundation of who we are today in our tradition is all music. But not only that, not only does the music give us the grammar, the music that we read when you go to a bar mitzvah and you hear the boy reading, it actually gives us insight into what the story and the words are talking about. I'll give you one example. One of the stories in the Torah is with a man named Joseph. Joseph was sold as a slave, and he ended up in Egypt. And he was a smart Jewish guy, so he did well in business. And he made it to the top there. He got some connections in the palace. And while he was in the palace, he was hit on by his boss's wife. Her name was Eshes Potiphera. And she was a very beautiful woman. And the Torah just tells us, and the Hebrew word is vayima'en. Joseph's just like, big deal, he just walks out. Like it was nothing. Like it was no challenge at all. Vayima'en, he held himself back, and he walked out. But if you look at the trup on that Hebrew word, vayima'en, so the trup is what we call a shelsheles. What is the sound of a shelsheles? So it goes like this. I'm going to sing it. You ready? That's good, right? I should give that to Adele. What does that connotate? Like wavering, vacillating, back and forth, uncertainty. That's what shelsheles represents when you see it in the Torah. So what is the insight over here? To us, when we read this story, it's like, it was no big deal. He just turned around and walked out. But the music tells us, no, that it was an inner battle. He himself was going back and forth, and then he controlled himself, and he walked out. So we see the music has a lot of insight. There's another trup called kadma v'azla, which means, literally in Hebrew, means get up and go. But the sound represents a sound of enthusiasm. And when the Torah wants to give off that message, then that's the sound it's going to use. So we see just from the get-go how music plays such an important role in Torah and our tradition that our entire understanding today is based on the music of Torah. Okay, that's where it started, but it continues, right? Everybody here been to Israel? Right, we've all been to Israel. Been to Israel, you've been to the Western Wall, the Kotel. The Kotel is where the temple once stood. The temple, both temples actually stood over there, and that's where, for many years, the Jewish people would go to pray and to connect to God. One of the main elements of the temple, and not everybody knows this, was the Levites. Are there any Levites? Does anybody come from the tribe of Levi in this room? Do you know? Go home and ask your parents, your grandparents to find out. You may be from the tribe of Levite. What are the Levites' job in the temple? They were the musicians. That's what their job in the temple was. They had the temple symphony, call it, and they would actually be playing music when people were going there to connect, to pray, to offer sacrifices, whatever it may be. They would have music in the background and different types of music to represent the different themes that were going on at that time. Because the music was able to evoke emotion and help people connect on a greater level than they could without the music. That was in the temple. Let's fast forward a whole bunch of years to actually a few years ago, the 1700s. In the 1700s, there was a Jew who's known as the Baal Shem Tov, a tremendous, tremendous tzaddik, a big saint. His writings and his philosophies are extremely popular today. His name was Rabbi Yisrael, and he actually founded the Hasidic movement. I myself am actually a descendant of the Hasidic movement. I don't have pace or anything, but I like potato kugel, so he founded the Hasidic movement. And what was that? So the Hasidic movement, many people don't know this. But why was it founded? Because at that time, there was a massive decline in Jewish connection. People were feeling very burnt out. You have to understand, historically at this time, there were many pogroms and people were getting killed and the Jews were being persecuted all over the place. And it was, people were just, they couldn't handle it anymore. They were really just hurt and broken. So he jump-started, or actually he brought back music to Judaism. He re-invited music to be part of Jewish culture and Jewish life. And he introduced this concept of singing as part of the services and part of the service of God. And actually, till today, if you go to any of the Hasidic temples, like you walk by in Jerusalem, the Hasidic synagogue, so they have services Friday night, they go home, eat dinner with their families, and they come back, even today, to what's called the Tish. And they sit around with their friends, the rabbis, women, children, and they're singing. They come back to sing beautiful melodies, some ancient, some newer, but as a form of connection, a form of getting a spiritual high, so to speak, through music. Very, very prevalent today. There's actually a famous Hasidic story about one of the Chabad rabbis, the rabbis from Lubavitch. I don't know if this story is true or not, but it's still a cool story, so I'll share it to you. Basically, it goes like this. The rabbi, the Chabad rabbi, the Lubavitch rabbi, was giving a Torah class to his disciples, to his students. And it was a deep class, a lot going on, a lot of back and forth, half hour, hour long. And at the end of the class, many of the students had questions. Many different questions. They start bombarding him and asking the rabbi, what are you talking about? Where'd you get this from? What's that? What? And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. He stops. He says, everybody relax. He waits a minute. He pauses. And he starts singing a song. The students are like, whoa, Rabbi's gone crazy. What's going on? Are you singing a song? We got questions. You're sitting there singing. But it was a nice song. It was a nice melody. And he kept going on and on and on. Until one of the students in the back start singing with the rabbi. And he joins along. And another student joins along. And another one. Until you have a full room full of Torah students singing with their rabbi. And they got into it. It was a deep melody. They got into it. And the story goes that the music itself opened up the minds of the students. It opened them up. And the answers to the questions that they had actually came to them on their own. Just because the music had this effect on their mind and on their emotion that it opened them up. And they were able to think in ways that they weren't able to think before the music. The power of music. And by the way, today, has anybody ever been in a yeshiva? Anybody ever been in a yeshiva? You've been to a yeshiva? So yeshiva is a very interesting experience. You walk into a study hall, pretty much, and you walk in, you're like, what are these guys? Okay, they're reading books. It should probably be very quiet. No, it's loud. And what do you hear? Music. The way Talmudical students study is with music. They read the words of Torah with a song. With a song. You walk into a law library and you can't hear a pin drop. It's quiet. Maybe you hear pages turning. Maybe you hear some guy chowing down on some donuts. Another guy weeping his head off in the corner. Get me out of this place. But it's quiet. It's quiet. When it comes to the study of Torah, we use music to connect us. And that's actually how it is in yeshiva. So this series is a series on Kabbalah. And you've heard many different classes on body and soul and reincarnation. and different Kabbalistic concepts. So I want to tell you something that is written by the Vilna Gaon. His name is Rabbi Eliyahu Kramer, and he actually lived the same time as the Baal Shem Tov in the 1700s. And he says something very, very deep. He says like this: the secrets of Kabbalah, and what is Kabbalah? Kabbalah, as we know it, is understanding the universe. That's really what Kabbalah is. The study of Kabbalah is understanding the secrets behind ourselves and behind the world and behind creation. And he says, Kabbalah, the secrets of Kabbalah can be found if one understands the genius of music. That means if one truly understands music, they can truly understand Kabbalah. Now, I don't really know Kabbalah, and I don't really know music, so I can't really relate so much to what he's saying, but it's a deep concept, and I actually want to share with you something that I read. So, of recent, there are mathematicians that have actually found mathematical equations within music itself. There is a book called Gödel, Escher, and Bach, which was written by a mathematician. You can get it on Amazon. It's a very, very difficult read. I just read a couple paragraphs of it, but in the book, he basically shows how there are mathematical equations that you find in Bach's music, that are in sync with mathematical patterns that you find in nature. How nature and music is connected. And I can't give you examples of it. If you want to find them, go read the book. But it's just a very deep concept, and that's a little bit what the Vilna Gaon was telling us, that Kabbalah, which is the secrets of the universe, can be understood through music. Deep concept. He continues writing, the Vilna Gaon, and he says something else. And this phrase has been adopted by many modern pop artists. Phrase goes like this: so speech is the language of intellect, and music is the language of the soul. Somebody told me that Beyonce just used this in one of her songs. Well, she plagiarized from the Vilna Gaon. That's not cool. Don't mess with the Gaon. Speech is the language of intellect, of the mind, and music is the soul talking. Music is language of the soul. We all have experienced it. There are times where we listen to music and we're taken away. There are different songs that we listen to and we're just elevated to a different plane. We get this supernatural high just from hearing those crazy guitar riffs, the saxophone solos, the vocals. The music elevates us. Maybe we're down, we weren't feeling so good, we weren't in a great mood, and we put on the music and we just in a different world. I got the best present of my life, my last birthday. It's basically a permanent vacation. If I want to go on vacation, I take out my Bose headphones, I put them on. My kids could be screaming, diapers could be changed or need to be changed. Kids could be, not me, I'm in Bose. I put it on and the music just takes me away. Amazing, the power of music. It gives us this deep, deep connection, and it connects to us in a very, very amazing way. That's why I see people, especially down 13th Street, they're walking up down the street singing to themselves, some a little bit lower, some a little bit louder. And I remember when I was younger, my mail lady, she used to do it all the time. She had these big headphones. I remember singing Michael Jackson, "Don't matter if you're black or white." And I was like, that's weird. That's really weird. What's she doing? But now I'm I respect that. All right, that's cool. Maybe that's her soul connecting, man. That's the way she does it. That's the way she feels spiritual. That's the way she feels high. And the truth is, that's exactly what that high is. When we listen to music and we feel it, that is our soul connecting to the music. That is our soul, in a very deep way, connecting to the melody that we hear. The Hebrew word for song, there are a few, we'll discuss another one in a little bit, is zemer. Zemer, on Shabbat, at the Shabbat table, we sing what's called zimirot, songs. But the word zemer actually means something else in Hebrew. To prune. No, not the things you eat when not that. To prune, you prune bushes. If you cut them at the edges a little bit, and then it helps them grow better. You cut them off at the end in order to experience this rebirth, so to speak, and to try to grow better and to grow stronger. And that's really what music does. Music gives us this ability to open up and to connect in a deeper way, to grow stronger, to grow better. It's no coincidence, nature is full of music, but the bird, is the predominant musician of the animal kingdom. And there's no coincidence that the bird is also the animal that flies. Music takes you up, gives you this high, this supernatural high. Maybe that's why Ozzy Osbourne used to bite off the dove heads on stage. Right? I guess he learned Kabbalah. I don't know. Okay, so any questions until now? Everybody good? If you have any questions, feel free to stop me at any time. Okay, so let's take this a little bit further. So we finished saying how music is words, pen is the expression of the heart, song is the expression of the soul. Now, if you have a feeling for somebody, father, mother, and a son, daughter, and you want to tell them you love them, so you could say to them, I love you. You could give them a hug and a kiss, an action. You could show that you love them. But are you able to fully express your feelings to them? It's challenging. Words are limiting. Words are limiting. The Hebrew word for word is daber, to talk. Daber means to talk. And daber also means in Hebrew to conquer. And the reason that is because words are actually conquering your thoughts, because while they're helping you give them over, but it does take away. Like imagine you had a feeling, you had an emotion, you had a thought that you wanted to give over, and you can just take it out of your brain and out of your heart and then transfer it to somebody and truly express how much you love them or how much you hate them or the feelings that you have, whatever it may be. So then they can truly, truly get it. But words, you have to get the proper pronunciations, and it's difficult. It takes away from the feeling that you're trying to convey. But music is much closer to the soul. And music is able to give over feelings and emotions in a much more direct way than words. Whether it's a happy feeling, a sad feeling, a feeling of yearning, a feeling of desire, you're able to express your feelings in a much more deep and emotional and powerful way through music. And that is why music plays such an important role in Judaism, because it gives us an opportunity to express ourselves in a more spiritual way, an opportunity to connect in ways that maybe we couldn't through other means. You know, you go to the synagogue and they're singing. Why are they singing? Let's pray. Why are you singing? We'll go to the opera afterwards. Why are you singing now? It's Yom Kippur. Chazan, today's not your time. Why are we singing? Because music helps us bring out the feelings that just words alone may not be able to do. So you put the words to the music, and then we're able to connect so much more real and so much deeper. So music is able to convey a feeling. But the power and the magic of music is that it's also able to capture a feeling. And this is something that you'll all be able to relate to me on. So you listen to songs of the 90s, and you're back there. You're just like, you're in the 90s again with bell bottoms and I don't know what else they do in the 90s, marijuana? Yeah, so, so like, you listen to the music and it transports you back there. You listen to certain songs who went to summer camp, right? Who went to summer camp, right? There's certain songs that you heard throughout summer camp that if you ever hear them again, you're back like in the middle of Color War. You're just back there doing Color War Breakout, right? You know exactly what I'm talking about. There's certain songs that transport you in ways that just words can't. You could read about, you could talk about summer camp, you could look at the pictures, but when you hear the music, you are back in camp. You are back there. That's what music can do. It can capture a feeling, which, by the way, that's part of the reason that there's so much music involved in, when we read, for example, the story of Esther, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but the story of Esther and Megillah and Purim. So there's its own melody because the point is to capture a certain feeling and transport us back to that. Music is able to do that. And the reason is because music exists on a plane beyond nature. It is above time. Music is above time. Think about it for a second. In order to appreciate a good piece of music, you can't listen to 30 seconds of it. You got to listen to the beginning. Then once you listen to the beginning, you can listen, and then you also got to appreciate the future, what's going to come. It's the past, it's what you heard. It's the present, it's what you're hearing now, and it's anticipating what the future is going to bring that makes music so powerful and so great. So it's combining the elements of past, present, and future. So goldfish have a 3-second memory, at least according to Snapple. That's what they told me. That's where I used to get all my that's where I used to get all my facts from. But now I started drinking vitamin water, so I don't know anything anymore. So, so goldfish have a 3-second memory. So imagine taking your headphones and putting them on a goldfish. And like you're trying to play the poor goldfish like living on a prayer. And all the poor thing hears is like, uh-huh, living on a prayer. It's like, what do you put this noise? I'm going to give me a headache. Because every 3 seconds, the poor thing forgets what it just heard. And it can't appreciate the music that it's listening to right now. It can't appreciate the music that it's listening to right now. Because in order to appreciate music, you have to be able to combine the elements of the past, the present, and the future. And that is the supernatural aspect of music. Any questions? Go. Shoot. So absolutely. Religious women are definitely allowed to sing. And I've actually written some songs for religious women artists. So would you? Oh, so there's a concept of men hearing women sing, which is a separate, totally disconnected. But when it comes to women singing, absolutely, absolutely, it's encouraged, absolutely. Any other questions? Shoot.
How come answer the question, but choirs are frowned or musical instruments are frowned upon in the non-reform movements?
So choirs are actually a big part of temple services, a big part. It's only on Shabbat where using an instrument, that's where it becomes a little bit more technically difficult for the Shabbat observant. But choirs, absolutely. The biggest Hasidic courts in the yeshivas that have massive, massive choirs, and it's extremely moving, and they're beautiful. Absolutely.
Sorry, more on terms of Shabbat services, why?
So that's a separate question I'll be happy to discuss with you after the class, but that's the concept of why are instruments not used on Shabbat. Totally question. That's a question in regards to Shabbat, and you have to understand the makings of Shabbat itself to really appreciate the answer to that, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it after. But excellent question. Great question. Any others? Any others? We're good? Okay. So we discussed how music is able to connect us on a spiritual level. But another very powerful aspect to music is that it's able to connect us to each other. You know, there are certain songs that when you hear them, whether it's by a prom or you're dancing the hora and you just want to grab a partner or grab a group and just like start dancing. By the way, I was just at a Sephardic wedding. Any Sephardim in the room? Anybody from Sephardim? What's up with the whole like finger shaking thing? Like where do they get that like finger move from? Whatever. So there are certain songs that promote unity, dancing together, and then there's certain songs you just want to be like convulsing in a corner by yourself, like doing the whole thing. There's actually a true story. Just made it up. There was a rock concert in Chicago where there was a short circuit on the guitarist's line, and he got electrocuted, and he starts convulsing, and he's really convulsing. Nobody's doing anything. He falls off stage, and everybody gets up. Everybody's applauding. Woo! We want some more. Bravo! Different types of music, different strokes for different folks. But the word. So we mentioned one Hebrew word for song, which was zemer, and we connected it to the word lizmar, which means to prune, to be able to open up. There's another Hebrew word which is shir. Shir means song. You know what else shir means? A ring, a circle. You guys see the connection? A circle. Music, powerful music is what's able to connect people, to bring people together, to make you want to be with others, to dance together, to enjoy the music together, to promote unity. And that's another thing that we use music for in Judaism. So we're celebrating Shavuot, right, in this weekend, but there's another holiday called Simchat Torah. Anybody know what Simchat Torah is and the difference between Simchat Torah and Shavuot? Right. So Shavuot, we celebrate the day that we received the Torah. On Simchat Torah, which comes a little bit after Yom Kippur, we celebrate the completion of the Torah. And how do we celebrate that holiday? We take the Torahs out of the ark, and we dance in circles with the Torah, bringing the community together through our greatest centerpiece, which is the Torah. And we use music and we use song for that. Incredible power. Okay, now I wanted to explain to you guys something quite fascinating. So when it comes to Jewish music, there are two types of song. Two types of songs. One is songs with words. Now when it comes to Jewish music in particular, a lot of the lyrics, while there are definitely many lyricists that are writing their own concepts for sure, but a lot of the music is actually text taken from the Torah, taken from the prayer books, from the Psalms, and then there are melodies written to them. And the melodies, together with the text, bring out the meaning of whatever you're singing about, and therefore you're able to connect to whatever you're singing about in a very real way. But there's another type of music that is a higher level, and that is called the nigun. What is the nigun? Nigun is music without words. And by the way, this is the best part of Jewish music, because if you never know the words, just say, ay, 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 ay. That always works, without fail. You won't get any looks for that. What is the nigun? The nigun is a melody without any words. Just singing a melody, and it is a prevalent concept in Jewish music, where you just have a melody that was written as a melody without any words, and just get together as groups and to sing melody itself. And why is that so powerful? Because like we said before, words are limiting. And when you hear a melody, so you're able to inject your own feelings into that melody. Whatever that melody does to you, so now you make it your own. Now that melody becomes your own, and every time you revisit and you sing it and you go around again, so now it's your own feelings that are coming back and forth. And that type of music has the ability to really move somebody in a great way. So those are the two types of music that we have. There's music with lyrics, and then there's the nigun, which is music, just melodies itself. A lot of ay, ay, ay's. Any questions? Good? Okay. So I told you before that when I get back to actually the story of Purim, who's familiar with the story of Purim? Okay, so the story of Purim, right? We know the story of Purim is a time after the first temple was destroyed and the Jewish people were exiled from Israel, and they were in a town called Shushan, and the king was Achashverosh, and his plan was, like many before him and many after him, to assimilate the Jews. And one of the first things that he did was through a big party. And we actually are given the details of the party in the Megillat Esther, which is the recording of the story of Purim. And if you go through the details, it shows how he went all the way. He went all the way with this party, and he wanted to pleasure all the five senses. And it says how the food was fabulous, amazing food and wines and drinks, and smell, great perfumes, maybe some cocaine, I don't know. He had different things to pleasure all the senses, felt robes that were comfortable, so he feel good. But one thing was missing. One thing was missing. You know what that was? Music. He did not have any music by his party. So all the commentaries ask, why didn't he have music? And they explain because Achashverosh understood the power of music. And the idea of this party was to get the Jews to assimilate more into society. And he understood that music has the power to uplift and to bring a person higher and to elevate them. And that's not what he was trying to do here. That's not what he wanted to do. So they all asked, what are you talking about? So play some crazy death metal or Snoop Dogg or something and just be like, crazy, crazy music that brings you down. Crazy music. Wild music. That should help. And you know what the commentators explain? A very, very beautiful concept, and it's a message that we could all take home. Each of us have different music that affects us in our own way, and you never know what kind of music can touch somebody. So if your girlfriend likes Britney Spears, you got to deal with it, because that's what touches her. And if your boyfriend likes Disturbed, you got to deal with it, because that's what touches him. Because like we said, music is a powerful, powerful tool. And I just want to end with one idea. So the number 7 represents the natural world. 7 days in a week, 7 colors of a rainbow, and 7 musical notes, right? Do, re, mi, something, 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 and then it goes back again, right? 7 musical notes. 7 represents natural order, the natural world. 8 represents the supernatural, like the circumcision is done on what day? The 8th day, supernatural. So in Israel, so we used to have Tower Records, different music labels here in America. In Israel, one of the popular music labels is called the 8th Note. They actually have a store in the airport, Ben Gurion Airport. They have a store in town. If you ever see me on a trip and I'm missing, that's usually where I am. That's where I hide out. It's a great spot. They got a great chair. Listen to all the Israeli music. It's called the 8th Note. 8 notes? What are you talking about? There's 7 notes. Where do you get 8? It's like an Israeli thing? They somehow, like I understand, this is what I was told, that techno music was invented in Tel Aviv. Is that true? I didn't get that from Snapple. I got that from Bamba. No. That's what I was told. But the 8th note, where did they get that from? So that's actually based on a midrash, an ancient rabbinic text that tells us that there's going to come a time in this world where the entire world will be at peace. The world will be at one. And there's going to be a reward for that. And that reward is a musical note. A musical note called the 8th note. And that note is going to be so beautiful, more beautiful than any music that we've ever heard before. That is the reward for a world united. Question, yes?
Is it possible that it's a double entendre with that? Because an 8th note is an actual count in music.
What? And I didn't get that. What?
So an 8th note is actually a count in music.
It is?
Yeah, you can have
Okay.
an 8th note, a 16th note, a whole note. a 14th
I'm talking about the Mary Poppins Do Re Mi Fa thing. Nothing more than that.
Maybe it's a play on that.
Maybe.
As well, like the whole spiritual point of it, but the fact that an 8th note is still a count.
It's still, I like it. Deep. You must have listened to some good music before the class. Definitely, definitely. I like it. Thank you. Any other points or questions before we end? And I leave you with my good friend and buddy, Rabbi Usher and Tali.
You're not going to sing for us?
You want me to sing? Yeah. So I sing in a few places. One I already told you about. I'm not going to repeat that. And I happen to be the chazan for the JEC on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So if you guys want to hear me sing, it's not too early to sign up for high holiday services. Actually, it is. But if you're thinking about it yet, you could definitely come there and join us. We have a great time. Me and Rabbi Lawrence, dynamic duo, we do a great high holiday services. If you've never experienced it with us before, definitely should come. It's cool. Any other questions, points, insights, songs? Thank you all very much. It's been a pleasure. I love you all. Shabbat shalom. It's been real.